Demon Slayer Episode 5 of the Hashira training arc, now out. Let's talk about it. Okay, so Episode 5 of the Hashira training arc is now available for you guys to go and check out. So last week's episode was all about the missed Hashira training. We followed Tanjiro as he went through that. Now, we got the tease last week of the Love Hashira. Only a small fraction of the Love Hashira's training is in this episode at the start. And it's quite funny to start off with because it's all about flexibility. And there's this really hilarious scene where she's like, oh, Tanjiro. And to the other Demon Slayer guy that's there is, oh, let me join and I'll show you how it's done. And they're sitting there and then she just spreads, like puts her legs and then just opens them completely up, spreads their legs into like the splits position. It's just the funniest thing. She obviously introduces Tanjiro to pancakes as well. So that was all fun. But then he moves on to the Serpent Hashira's training. Now, some people who haven't read the manga or anything like that probably don't know this. This is probably the first time they've been revealed. But obviously the Serpent Hashira and the Love Hashira very much have a thing. So when he gets a letter about how much she enjoyed, training Tanjiro and what they did, this triggers the Serpent Hashira. And he already hated Tanjiro. He already had a distaste for him. And then when he goes into the training, it's this really interesting training where he's got all of them tied up, all the other Demon Slayer Corp members all tied up with little in-betweens of them that Tanjiro must hit. So Tanjiro's like, I don't want to hit these people. So he's doing it slowly, trying to make sure that he's accurate and not hitting them. And this really pisses off the Serpent Hashira. He's really pissed off. So he says, fine, I'm going to fight you while they're all here. You got to try and hit me. And this then comes into this awesome moment where he's fighting him. And then, Tanjiro's getting absolutely battered constantly because he's too busy worried about not hitting his friends that are all there. He's trying not to hit them. But in the meanwhile, he's getting absolutely destroyed by the Serpent Hashira. And then they have this comedic moment where they go into like the spa bar thing. And it like hurts their scratches and their cuts and their bruises and that. Hilarious. But then Tanjiro works out, I need to stop focusing on not hitting these people and focus on the fight itself. And Tanjiro does that, and this is where he's able to land the blow on the Serpent Hashira that now, gets him to the next level of training. This is where the very interesting part this is where you start to find out that Genya and SANEMI are some of the best characters in the series. And so Tanjiro gets elevated to the Wind Hashira's training, to SANEMI's training. And this is where we meet Tanjiro meets Zenitsu for the first time since, the Entertainment District arc. This is where they meet. And Zenitsu's pleading with him to save him. He's gonna die in that because he's at the Wind Hashira's training. And this is where SANEMI turns up. Beautiful, funny confrontation that happens there. But then, obviously, we get to the training aspect and the Wind Hashira is not like everyone else. He is very brutal, like to say the least. Like that's an understatement. He's like, all of you come attack me, and then he just beats them all down. Constantly doing that. And then there's this one night when Tanjiro is sitting there and he hears some stuff going on the outside of his room. So he goes out and has a look and hears Genya talking to SANEMI, talking to him as like, yo, big brother, please, like, I have something I want to tell you. So we know about the backstory of them because of the previous arc where we saw Genya and just what he went through as a kid with SANEMI and what SANEMI had to do as well and why SANEMI is the way he is. Now this all gets paid off later on. It's like it's arguably one of the best arcs of characters when it's SANEMI and Genya. Like this relationship, the way that it ends is just, oh man, get ready for the tissues because your eyes are going to flood with water. So we see the confrontation there, and this is where SANEMI is basically dismissing Genya as a brother. He's like, I have no brothers anymore. I don't give a crap what you have to say in that. And this is when we finally get the feel of the aura of SANEMI as well, and you feel it throughout. And then, so he goes into, after Genya tells him that I eat demons in order to, keep up with everyone, because he doesn't know any breathing styles, he can't learn them. But his special ability is he eats demons and he gains their powers, and he's able to get stronger like that. This pisses Sanemi off, like really. We know Sanemi hates demons, absolutely hates him, especially with the backstory of it. So he's super pissed. So he comes after Genya. He's gonna poke his eyes out by the looks of it. Tanjiro saves Genya. Now this then turns into this insane moment where Sanemi is coming. Tanjiro is stepping up for Genya and telling him, no, you can't do that. You're saying he's not your brother. You have no way to tell him that he has to leave the Demon Slayer Corps. You can't tell him what to do. None of his choices impact you because you said he's not his brother. You're not his brother. Tanjiro is not used to this brother confrontation. His brotherly confrontation is like fun, tickling, wrestling, like the normal stuff that you're supposed to do. This is a completely different scenario that he's in. So already battered and bruised Tanjiro is like, fine, you want to get to Genya, then you're going to have to go through with me. And Sanemi's like, I'm not going to kill Genya. I'm just going to ruin him to the point where he can't come back from. And then he says, fine, if you're going to get in the way, Tanjiro, I'm going to do it to you as well. And this is where they start having the fight. And we notice that Tanjiro has elevated. Like when there's stakes on the line, Tanjiro elevates his level and he starts to go toe to toe with Sanemi. And he even lands a blow on Sanemi, and then there's this massive brawl that happens, and everyone's getting in it, and that Tanjiro also makes the comment to Sanemi, like, we wouldn't have been able to beat the Upper Moon demon without Genya's help. Like, Genya was a major reason for that, which is true. And you see Genya. When we first met Genya, he was this character that you hated. Just did not give a crap about anyone, angry, hitting people, hitting girls. Like, he just did not care. Then we met him in the Entertainment District arc, and we sort of saw the turn of him as well, and how he started to understand who Tanjiro was and what Tanjiro brings, and his aura of Tanjiro paying off on him. Here, we now starting to see Genya and him realizing who Tanjiro truly is, and what Tanjiro really stands for, and how he's willing to step up to anyone to protect someone. So, this beautiful moment, I loved all that interaction. It just adds that extra layers of depth to Genya and Sanemi and Tanjiro and this relationship that's going to happen, because obviously we know Tanjiro doesn't forgive Sanemi for, at this point in time, for stabbing Nezuko, as he makes a comment about that as well. He says, when Sanemi says, I don't accept you, Tanjiro goes, I don't accept you either because you stabbed Nezuko. So there's already they already don't like each other. So there's that. So Tanjiro ends up getting suspended from that Hashira training, so he can't take any part in that. But then we see him and Zenitsu going up to the mountain to meet the strongest Hashira right now and to go through his training, which I'm so excited for. Oh, it's going to be so good because we have not seen anything of the Stone Hashira. We have not seen anything of him. So I'm very, very interested to see what we're going to get of him here and how they're going to animate and everything like that. So I'm super, super excited. Cannot wait for next week's episode. But I really like this week's episode. I love the stuff they're doing with Tanjiro. I love the extra stuff they're adding in. And I love the confrontation with Genya and Sanemi. So let me know what you guys thought of this episode. Did you guys enjoy it? Smash down the comment section below. Smash that like button for me. Click subscribe. And I'll see you guys next video. Until then, stay safe and peace out.